Hey guys, I wanted to do a video quickly on how to not have expectations from working on recovery, which I know sounds like a complete mad thing to do. Like, why would you not expect anything from recovery? And of course, I'm not saying that you need to have like completely zero, expectations. It's also not possible because when you're trying to work on yourself, of course, there's a little bit of that hope and expectation that okay, maybe this will work and something will happen. But I'll explain what I mean by this from my own journey as well. But before I go on, please subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think, and if you have any questions, please pop them down in the comments. I think so. For me, by the time I actively started working on OCD with OCD recovery, by that point, I had tried a lot of different things to try and get better from anxiety. I had gone for trauma therapy. I had done conventional like psychodynamic therapy. I had done group therapy as well. I had read books on anxiety and trauma. I had tried to do some like meditation stuff as well. I even tried medications for briefly, like for like 3 months, I think 4 months, something like that. But then I was like, I don't know, I didn't see the point in them. But that was just for me personally. If someone takes meds, that's their personal choice. At the time, I didn't know what to do beyond just like taking meds. So I was like, I'm just taking meds and then I'm doing nothing beyond that. So that's why I found like there was no point to it. So I had tried all sorts of things, and nothing had really, as far as OCD went and chronic anxiety went, like nothing really helped, and nothing really helped me budge anything. And by that time, a therapist had also told me that people that he had seen with OCD have OCD forever, and they kind of like just have to manage OCD for the rest of their life. And I think that was a very, very, very sad moment for me. Of course, because at that point I was like, wait, what? I thought there could be a way out of this. Like, this means I have to have OCD forever. And I felt hopeless for, I think, like a week or two. But after that, without even knowing at the time, I think I kind of like just really like went into more of a mindset of, if this is the life I've been somehow given, and these are the cards I've just been dealt, I'll, by hook or by crook, I'll just make a life somehow. I'll still work towards my goals, even if for me it might take far longer than an average person. But whatever it takes, I'll try and do my best. That's the kind of like mindset that I went into. But I'm kind of glad that therapist said that, even though it's not true. You don't have to just manage OCD for the rest of your life. You can recover from it. Of course, you can recover from it. That's the entire like premise of this channel. But I'm glad he said that, because I think without even knowing at the time, it helped me move towards acceptance of like, I guess this is my life, and it helped me make peace with life being challenging and perhaps difficult because of OCD. That internal like urgent fight to kind of like push it away and resist it and kind of like take it out of my life, that kind of stopped because of that. So by the point when I came into OCD recovery to work on OCD, at that point I had like been through so many different things, and I had heard all these different opinions about anxiety and OCD, including this opinion by this therapist. So I was pretty much like, I didn't really have any expectations, from anything, from any recovery plan or from any way forward. I was pretty blah about it, and I was just like, like, fine, sure, okay, this other way, fine, I'll try it, but like I don't expect anything from this, right? And I think that when we're talking about our recovery journeys on this channel and whatnot, like obviously like our point is to motivate people and to push people, and there were obviously a lot of moments where I had to motivate myself and really push myself to work on recovery and really look into some of these things in a very deep way. But at the same time, I think I can't highlight enough that majority of my recovery journey was in this very resigned, blah kind of mood. That I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if there's any use in doing this. I don't know if there's any use in like reading this or doing that. Like I was just like, so at that point I had no expectations. I was just like kind of like, okay, what's the harm in trying one other thing? What's the worst that'll happen? It won't work. Okay, fine. I've already tried so many other things and they haven't worked. And I think only in retrospect I realized that actually that mindset actually did help me, because I think if I would have come in with like very like overly focused kind of like expectations of this is what the recovery journey needs to be and this is what needs to come out of it and this is how I need to feel by the end of it, I think I would have probably fallen into the trap that so many OCD sufferers do, which is trying to work on things compulsively, trying to read the books too fast, trying to dispute compulsively, trying to do their exposures compulsively, trying to figure out whether they're doing the right thing for recovery or not compulsively, trying to figure out what's compulsive or not compulsively, because that's another thing that people are, is this compulsive or is this not compulsive? Should I be doing this or should I be doing that? Like I probably would have been, I would have done that. I would have binge watched OCD content online as well to try and like get as much information as possible. I think because I didn't have a lot of like huge big expectations from like the recovery process, I think it was easy for me to go into it with, in some ways, like a calmer mindset and not like any big rigid expectations, not this hot microscope and magnifying glass on what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. And I was far more comfortable about like taking risks as well. In some ways, as far as exposures went, I did not want to take that risk. That was the risk that was the hardest for me to take. But in general, in terms of people are sometimes asking us questions about, hey, so like, do you think we should read the books in the exact order that you're recommending, or do you? So how exactly how many minutes should I dispute, and how many? What's the exact there's no like, there's a relative structure to it, there's a loose structure to things, but it's not as down like to the strict line as a lot of people think it is. It's not that way. And I think when I therefore it really helped me kind of like go in and out of uh, the bad symptoms, the negative feelings, and things like that that came along with working on recovery. Because I wasn't then working on recovery as a mathematical equation of like, okay, if I do this and this, then this will be the result. Like it wasn't like a 1 + 1 = 2 kind of thing. I was pretty much very open to wherever the journey took me in that way. And I think and this is the thing about expectations is something I think I've also just like learned from my dad in general as well, because he's talked a lot about throughout our life, he's talked a lot about don't expect anything from anyone, and he doesn't mean it in a cynical way. He just means that even if you're like doing good for people, I don't know what's happening with my hair, even if you're doing good for people, don't do it with the expectation of, oh, because I'm doing this for this person, therefore tomorrow they're going to do this for me. So I mean, that's kind of like the approach that he's had in life. He's been a very people's person, but he's done it as much as humanly possible. He's done it without any expectations of that, oh, this person is going to return the favor to me one day kind of thing, which I think is something I've without even realizing, I think I've really taken that on board in my life as well. I've in my relationships, but not just my relationships. I think I've really taken that line of thinking with a lot of things, even something like recovery as well. It really just helps not be in this 24/7 analytical mental cycle of, am I doing the right thing? This needs to happen, that needs to happen. And even when I eventually ended up doing my exposures, which I found incredibly scary and incredibly hard, that for me, that was the scariest point of like the actual like fear kind of like part of my journey. That was me doing those exposures. Um, I didn't do them like, it wasn't like I went into them with this mindset of like, okay, you know what, let's just do them, like let's smash them. No, it wasn't like that at all. In fact, I did them with I tried to resist them as much as I could, but like I did them with more so of a bit of a bit of a blah mindset. I was just like, okay, fine. I guess this is the last thing left that I haven't tried at all for recovery. Other things I've tried, okay, they've helped. Reading the books helped, disputing helped, looking at my perspectives helped. Okay, those things have helped. Reducing some of my other massive compulsions, okay, sure, that has helped. I guess this is the last thing. And again, I had no expectations and I went into it with that kind of like a bit of a blah mindset. Um, and of course, like it helped me overcome my biggest fears. And for me, that was the last big hurdle for me that remained on the recovery journey. And I'm glad I eventually did it, even with that half resigned, half demotivated kind of like mindset of like, okay, fine, sure, let's do it, like that kind of thing. And again, I'm not saying that you need to be like me. I think for me, I also just couldn't help it because at the time, especially, I was a bit of a monotone person. I'm just someone who is also just, I am a little blah in life sometimes. I've always been before as well. I've always been oh, whatever works, fine. Whatever everyone else wants to do, sure, I'll do it. I've been a little bit of that, but that got super amplified when I was suffering with OCD because I became emotionally numb. I didn't have any feelings towards anything negative or good, to be honest. Like, even if there was like really tragic news on TV that I saw, I'd be like, nah, okay, fine. 10 people died, sure. I just didn't feel anything. And the same with super exciting things, whether I was traveling or whether I was like seeing like an exciting movie or something. I didn't feel much. So I was already in a bit of that. It was quite amplified. So that's why I was in a very, I like to say I was in a very disinterested place emotionally in life in general. But if I think about it, that wasn't, it's not like there were no absolute benefits to it. To be honest, in some ways, it gave me benefits when it came to the recovery journey, because I was not as I was not compulsive about doing the recovery journey. I wasn't measuring whether every step of recovery was leading to like relief or not, and that helps. So I just wanted to do this like video. This is like a short video for me because I usually go up till like 20 minutes. But I just wanted to do this short video and talking about how like lowering your expectations and not having these expectations super attached to the recovery process each step of the way can actually help you approach it with a far more flexible and calmer mindset, where you're also okay then making mistakes and you're also okay with not doing things properly. You're also okay with like having a few missteps, but still like, but then you're like, okay, this is something I think I didn't do quite well, okay, let me try and just like keep going and not try and do that again. And that's that, no big deal. That will definitely help you not like get caught up in your own head while you're trying to work on recovery. But guys, hope you find this video helpful. Let me know if you have any comments, and let me know if there are any other topics you want me to cover. Would be happy to take a look at them. Bye.